Hi everyone and welcome to math. I hope everyone is doing well and had a great spring break. So we're going to start something new in math, and the topic we're going to be learning about is fractions. So I'm so glad to have you guys with us. All right, so let's start off with some thinking questions. Our first thinking question is, which picture represents 1/2 of a circle? Is this picture here of a half circle, the fairground, or a movie? Remember, we gotta think. All right, next one. 2 parts make a fireworks, whole, or spaghetti. Last thinking question, guys. What is another way to write this fraction? You'll notice this circle has 1 piece out of 4 that are colored in. So if you were to see this written, what would it look like? Would it look like a cart, a phone, or the fraction of 1/4, or 1/4? All right, so to get started, we are going to go into your anticipatory set. So let me minimize this for a second. Let's go in here. And let's get started with your anticipatory set. All right, give it just a second, guys. While we're waiting, what do you think a fraction is? You heard that word before? If you're a 4th or a 5th grader, you very well could have. So let's give it one more second. All right, it's thinking, guys. All right, here it goes. Let's listen to our anticipatory set, okay?
Wait, stop! You're supposed to share with the whole class. Moby, that's not fair. Everyone is supposed to get equal parts of the sandwich. What is a fraction? A fraction tells you the number of parts out of a whole. Not that kind of whole, Moby. Something is whole when it has all of its parts. I love muffins. This whole muffin has 2 equal parts. In a fraction, the number of parts goes under a line. There are 2 parts. You took 1 part of the muffin, and that number goes on top. So this fraction shows you took 1 out of 2 parts. You can also write this as 1/2. What is a half? When you split something in half, you make 2 equal parts. Right, Moby, there are 2 halves in a whole. Half for you and half for me. There are 2 equal pieces, and we each get 1 piece. Sometimes I see a half moon at night. And everyone loves a half day of school. What is a third? We can share this cake between you, me, and Grandpop. We can cut the cake into thirds. That means we divide it into 3 equal pieces. We each get 1 slice. So Grandpop gets 1 out of 3 slices. We each get 1/3 of the whole cake. There are 3 of us, but only 1 is a robot. So 1 out of 3 of us is a robot. What is a 4th? I love apple pie, and this pie has 4 equal slices. You took one slice. So you took 1 out of 4 slices, or 1/4 of the slices. 1/4 is also called 1/4. Exactly, Moby. There are 4 quarters in a dollar, so 1/4 is 1/4 of a dollar. I can divide a lot of things into fourths, like a piece of paper, a cup of water, an inch, or an hour. I think all this sugar is making us sick, Moby. We better cut up the sandwich so everyone can get an equal piece. It's okay, Moby. I've got a slice saved right here. Wait, you're supposed to give me half. I guess you can keep mine.
All right, guys. Great job listening to our anticipatory set. So let's go back into our lesson. Oh, hold on a second. Here it is. So go back into our lesson, and the next thing we need to do, because you guys have had great practice with this, is you need to make your prediction. So based off of what you heard with your ears, what you saw with your eyes, and what you think in your brain, what do you think you're going to be learning about? Do you think you're going to learn about fractions? Or do you think you're going to learn about a dog? Take a minute and think about that. There's no right or wrong answer because this is your prediction. Okay, guys. Moving on. So our repeated storyline for our story is, a fraction is part of a whole. See our star up here, so when we see the star, we want to remember to read our repeated storyline. Our vocabulary includes fraction. So here are some examples of a fraction. There's a whole, a half, and a third. And a fraction is a part of a whole. So if you look at the picture, what do you think that means? So a whole, the whole circle is filled in with yellow. For the green circle, only half is filled in. For the blue circle, a third is filled in. So here's some additional examples of our fractions. We have whole. Notice the whole circle is filled in red. We have half. Only half of the circle is in red. I'm only on half of the circle. If we go over here, it's even a smaller piece, it's a fourth. My head is on a fourth of the circle. So there are some different examples of fractions. We have our story. It says, have you heard of fractions? So let's check out our story, guys. All right. What are fractions? Ready, set, go. Carly and Ava are racing around the track. Carly is in the lead, but it isn't over yet. They've only completed a fraction of the race. There's our vocabulary word, guys. Fraction means a part of a whole. We can use fractions to describe how much. Half the race is done. Half is a fraction. So if we look up here at our track, you notice the yellow line is halfway around. They've only done half of their race. Let's figure out what will happen. So fractions can make sure everyone gets a fair share. Fractions divide things into equal parts. All right, guys, I see our star, so let's read together. A fraction is part of a whole. Thank you for reading. An apple can be split into two pieces that are the same size. There is still the same total amount of an apple, but now it's ready to share. Each person gets a fraction of the apple, 1/2. And here's our picture symbol for 1/2. Only 1/2 of the circle is shaded red. A fraction is shown as two numbers with a line between them. Here's our line, guys. The top number is the numerator. That's a big word, but just remember that's the number that goes on the top. And it tells how many parts are being counted. So in this case, one part is being counted, and 1 is our numerator. The bottom number, the denominator, tells how many parts make up the whole thing. So in this case, there are 2 parts, and there's 1 piece being counted. That goes back to our apple fraction, which was 1/2. So there's different ways to write, say, and see fractions. So here's an example of 1/2. We've gone over that one, and here's our circle that's halfway shaded in. Let's check out 1/4. It's written with the numerator of 1, the denominator of 4. So 1/4. And then we have our picture over here. So let me come over here with you guys. So here's our picture, and when we're looking at it, just 1 piece out of 4 pieces is shaded in dark blue. So that makes it a fraction of 1/4. And there's so many fractions we can do, so let's look at this last one. 3/4, so 3/4, your numerator and your denominator. Here's how it's written, 3/4 or 3/4. And then here's our picture. 3 out of 4 pieces are colored blue. Good job, guys. Keep up the hard work. I appreciate how hard you're working. So anything you can count or measure can be made into a fraction. There are 8 kids at the party. 5 are girls. As a fraction, 5/8 of the children are girls. So that's how you write that as a fraction. How many boys are there? 3/8 are boys. There are more girls than boys at the party because 5/8 is more than 3/8. So you're using your addition too with our fractions. You guys are welcome to read your repeated storyline. A fraction is part of a whole. Alright, so if you have a napkin close by or near you, and if you don't, just imagine a square napkin. And folding can show us parts of a whole. Unfold a napkin. Do you see the sections? I do. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one has 4 equal parts. 4/4 is how many would show. That is a fraction. Now, oh my gosh, the napkin changed. The napkin's been folded in half. 2 squares are showing. So now it's 2/4, which is the same as 1/2. These are different names for the same fraction. Good job, guys. All right, let's check this out with food. Sam and Kyla are going to make trail mix. Has anybody had trail mix? If you like crunchy food, you might like trail mix. They need cereal, raisins, and peanuts. The recipe says the mix is 2 parts cereal, or 2/4, 1 part raisins, or 1/4, 1 part peanuts, or 1/4. Let's read our repeated storyline. A fraction is part of a whole. So here's some other fractions we can do. So if you have string, or if you have like licorice candy, there's different ways you can do this. But if you have a whole piece of licorice, or like I said, yarn, a string, you can even use a sheet of paper. Then you cut it into half. You have 2 pieces, but if you put those 2 pieces together, you then have a whole. But your half pieces are a little smaller than your whole piece. If we get to thirds, they're even smaller. There's 3 pieces. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3. Oh, but wait, here's fourths. They're going to get even smaller. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is one way you can use fractions. Again, you can practice this with a string. You can practice this with candies. You can even practice with a piece of paper. Okay? All right. All right. So let's compare sizes. So if you like candy, would you rather have 1/4, which is over here, or would you rather have 1/2? Don't let that bottom number fool you. Look at the size of the 4th. It's shorter than the 1/2. It takes 2 of the 4ths to be as long as the 1/2. So I would go for the 1/2 because I really like candy, okay? Fractions are all around us. 25 cents is 1/4 of a dollar. A slice of pizza is 1/8 of the pizza. One time around the track can make a whole race. Carly was faster for the first half, but Ava pulled ahead in the second half. Those are fractions in action. Good race, guys. All right, so we're going to have some questions, and we always have to remember our steps to critical thinking and problem solving. To listen to our question. Listen to all the answer choices. Think really, really hard about your choices. And you got to make a choice. You got to answer the question by choosing one of the answer choices. You might use your eyes. You might use your hands. There's different ways to make choices. But you've got to make a choice so that we know you're learning. All right, let's go back to our questions. Let's think about it, guys. Which picture represents 1/2 of a circle? So 1/2, remember, one part of the circle is shaded in red. The fair or a movie? Think really hard before you make your choice, but I'm sure you've got it. I'll give you a second. Great job, guys, you're right. This picture, the 1/2 a circle, represents 1/2. Good job listening, guys. Let's go to our second question. 2 parts make a firework? A hole or spaghetti? Think on it. I know you guys have this. Oh, good job, guys. You're right. 2 parts make a whole. You were really paying attention to our lesson today. Thank you. We have one more. What is another way to write this fraction? So if we look at this fraction over here, it was in our story. 1 piece is colored red out of 4. What would this look like if it were written? Would it look like a cart? A phone? Or the numbers 1/4, or 1 is the numerator, 4 is the denominator, also known as 1/4. Give you a minute to think for a second. Good job thinking, guys. You're right. We would write it as 1/4. You guys are doing such a great job. I appreciate all of your hard work. All right. So we have different connections to our math and our fractions. Let me move this over just a little bit. We have connections to our home. So maybe when if you're baking or cooking or in the kitchen when your parents or your caregivers are making dinner or breakfast or lunch, they may be using fractions. If you have pizza for lunch, maybe they cut the pizza in half. In our community, there's lots of fractions. You might take a walk. You might go around the whole block. You might only go around the 1/4 of the block. But if it's a beautiful day, you might go around the whole block. And then we have our world. So the world uses fractions too. How does the world use fractions? So if we think about how much rain we may get here in the United States versus somewhere else. We might get more, they might get less. We can think about sports and games. A soccer game, if you're watching a soccer game that's played in England, they have fourths, quarters, their game is divided into fractions. So there's all different ways we use fractions. So let's check it out, guys. Give it just a second. There might be an ad. Hold on. So if you have Legos at home, you could work on fractions. Hold on, guys. Oh, he has a Lego. He cut the Lego in half, and there it is, written as 1/2. 1/4. Oh, what did he do? They're trying to trick us. 1/8. 1 whole. There's a half, a fourth, and an eighth. Notice they start larger and get smaller. Oh, look, they're being fancy. They're adding the fractions. What else can you do with fractions? Great job, guys. So that's one connection. So if you have some Legos or some blocks at home, that's one thing you could do. You could practice making some fractions. All right, hold on, guys. Hold on. Being slow. All right. So we're going to stop there. There's lots of different activities you can do. You check the Google Drive for some of those activities. But in the meantime, see if you have some Legos at home. Or take a plate and cut the plate in half. Fill a drink halfway full, or 3/4 full, or 1/4 full. There's a variety of different things you could do. Remember to use your ULS and your login and your password. We appreciate everything that you're doing, and thank you all very much. Have a great day. See you next time.